No problem. You're coming in very crystal clear. Yesterday, we went through your reports, and I expressed some concern, some anxiety. I have to tell you, I had to fire my revenue officer because there were no revenues coming in. I didn't need them. So I've got my CIO on the line here. He's going to make sure that I kind of know where I'm going and know what I have to do. I'm not going to stop at anything. So your job's on the line. You have to convince me that things are good this morning and you have a good plan for the future until the end of this damn evolution that we're in the midst of from Pakistan. I know those guys. They're not going to give up easy.
Understood.
So go ahead. I've got your report in front of me. I don't like to read. So tell me where are we? Tell me what you need. Go.
So yesterday, the CEO reported to you that we had multiple outside attackers, and I can confirm that that was true. They are presently blocked from accessing our network using their IP address. Just for non-technical people, that's pretty much their unique internet street address that we've identified with our firewall. We identified them to be port scanning, so they were looking for things that were open that they could use to exploit us. And I personally have a firewall rule that will identify port scanning behaviors and then automatically block that IP address for 1 hour, which is the max allotted time allowed. And unfortunately, there was an inject yesterday that was asked of us to allow SSH traffic within our network. And during that span, when that was allowed, we were infiltrated. So presently, we've blocked the attacker. We identified them within the network, but we're still kind of estimating the after effects of their time inside the network. And I know yesterday you had a big concern about medical records. We are taking the utmost care to make sure that those are not exfiltrated. That machine that hosts the database and the files for that, if we catch any activity that we think may be malicious, we immediately take that offline for maintenance and to make a security sweep on it. It takes about 10 minutes max, typically around 5, and then we put it back up so it's secure and it's ready to go again. And the e-commerce website, I know that was a pretty big deal yesterday. And so by the end of our time in the environment, e-commerce was up and readily available. Outside users should be able to access it. Unfortunately, I know you asked for a client view. Unfortunately, we don't have an outside machine to be able to see what clients would see, but from our tests, they should see the website and they should be able to interact with it perfectly fine. So being outside makes a difference, but to what you see, but we don't think they should see anything different from what we see. So that is my report based on what you wanted yesterday.
Peyton, what I meant when I said outside view is not so much, technically what they see, but instead of talking about DNS, instead of talking about access and so on, it's the way the client would understand these words.
Oh, okay.
When we said client view, we didn't really technically mean the way that the client computer would present a screen, but rather the way the client would understand that we're in trouble, Oh,
I'm sorry for the misunderstanding.
It's makes it a little bit easier, but I think you've given me enough of a handle. I'm going to turn over to Jeff, my CIO, to see whether I know that he's been looking over the performance of your system, and he might have some questions for you. So Jeff, floor is yours.
Hey, good morning, Peyton.
Morning.
Good morning. So what's the current state of all the different servers and systems right now?
Allow me to pull that up for you and refresh the page.
Okay.
So currently our systems, our hardware AD-DNS is down. We're performing maintenance on that. And the security onion is down as well. All other services are up and functioning properly. We've identified a pretty big vulnerability on security onion that was exploited yesterday due to that access that was given from that inject. I have my best Linux guy working on it. That is currently our most rooted machine. that we can identify, and that was used to access the firewall. So what we did this morning was I transferred firewall management over to our Windows 10 box, and I removed all access and users that were logged in on Security Onion, so that outside attackers wouldn't have access, or they wouldn't have credentials that we would use. I installed all new users, and I implemented a policy to block traffic from Security Onion specifically to the firewall. ADDNS, from what we can tell so far, there is a malicious script that's creating processes that as soon as we prop DNS up, it will automatically take it down. So we're right now we're testing to check and see what processes are spawning that cause that to go down. And we're probably on like our second test. There's a couple processes that prop up that we think we got. Earlier in the morning, we did kill off one process that allowed that to stay up. But other than that, I'm not seeing any problems. We're making routine sweeps to make sure that any scripts that we've identified are removed, and any processes or users that they create are removed.
Okay, so the Active Directory is a planned maintenance.
Okay. Yeah, we're performing maintenance on that right now, and we're currently doing a contingency to move that over to bind so that it will work properly, unless that would interrupt scoring or anything like that on that system. I'm unaware if that would be the case.
Do you have a way to authenticate users while Active Directory is down, or people blocked from getting into systems at that time?
People aren't blocked from getting into systems. We have those local accounts.
Okay.
So, but the only real problem with that is the e-commerce website internally. You have to use the IP address, and then you have to move through the Apache server to find the web page, as I understand.
Okay.
I spend most of my time on the firewall.
Got it. And so on the medical records, your report says you're taking the utmost care. Can you give me a little insight into what that really means?
Anytime we identify threat activity targeted at or located on OpenEMR, because when we took over the system, there were a couple of malicious scripts that were running. One was Goose. Anytime you would run a command, a Goose would just pop up in the terminal. So anytime we identify something going on there, or I find any weird traffic that's getting sent out from OpenEMR, we immediately we shut I block traffic going to and from it, and then we also shut the network interface off to perform maintenance on it. Remove those, try to find processes or scripts, and then throw it back up. And it's stayed up the majority of the time. That we're not most of the downtime is us.
Okay. So, look, you're a valuable asset to the company. I'm hearing a lot of, I'm doing this in your reporting. Can you give me some sense of how the team is being managed and how they're being directed to focus on keeping the systems up and running and dealing with incidences?
My team is very, very capable. They're very independent. I don't need to give them a lot of direction. I do require them to report to me what's happening so I can take a look. But mostly they take care of things by themselves. I know our Linux administrator is top notch. He is managing most of our Linux boxes. Anything that's not Security Onion, he's on it right now, and he's keeping those propped up. Our other guys, I direct people towards injects. I see who's available and who can get the injects done, and I direct them towards those, or they'll volunteer themselves to get them done. The team we spread out based on boxes, pretty much. So we're really fitting everyone's individual strengths.
So no, that's good. We're short on time. Just one last question. With everything that's going on with this coronavirus, everybody's got to do a good job of taking care. But if God forbid you would, not be available for any reason, and I hope you stay healthy. Who's your go-to person on the team to step in and lead that team?
My go-to person, well, I really have, can I say two? I have a primary and a secondary. My
Okay.
primary would definitely be Philip Taylor. That's our Linux administrator. I would definitely contact him. That's my top guy. That's my workhorse that I'm using right now. And other than that, I would more than likely contact AJ Clark.
Okay, very good. Very good. Well, we get through this. Let's talk about giving them a good raise.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Peyton, I appreciate it. I'll remind you, I have a board meeting this afternoon to talk about all the down times, all the sad times that we've had the last couple of days. Anything you can tell me to give a boost to my morale?
Well, sir, I promise you that when problems pop up, we are immediately taking care of them. We're taking our best practices into account. You shouldn't have too many more sad times today. Hopefully, we're taking care of business, and I assure you, sir, you're going to be getting that raise or your bonus.
All right, well, that's good news for me. Thanks very much, Marshall.
Thank you. Dr. Terregas, if I could speak out of the side of the competition, I have to say you are the most intimidating person I've ever seen. I don't get intimidated or scared that easily, but I came in to talking to my team after talking to you yesterday, and I was shaken. I just wanted to tell you that because that was a very rare occurrence for me.
Peyton, I hope this is helpful for you, because when you finish your degree and when you're out in the big bad world, I want you to be strong, and I want you to be an advocate for what you know. And sometimes it's very difficult to do that.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, everyone. Nice talking to you. Will there be another CEO meeting today, or is this the last one?
That's it. That's the last one.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.